Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now today we're comparing the GT 1030 with the RX 550 and the older 750 Ti. Now you have to bear in mind that there are plenty of variants of each card, and so results may vary, and the only reason I'm pointing it out is because today those results were very close. So I've decided to lay this out in a way that shows off the 1030 gameplay here, and I will be incorporating all of the results into a nice handy and easy to read graph, because I felt that this was the best way to do this, and you see a much better representation of the exact results then. So the cards I'm using are the Gigabyte 1030, the Sapphire RX 550 and an old MSI 750 Ti low profile version. So let's get straight into the results. So first of all we have Overwatch, which at the high settings runs at 73 frames per second on the 750 Ti, 67 on the 1030 and 64 on the RX 550. If you look at the 1% and 0.1% lows for each, you'll see that there really wasn't any stutter across all of these three cards with Overwatch, and so far we've started off quite close, with the 750 Ti pulling slightly ahead. GTA 5 next, where again the 750 Ti comes out on top with an average of 72, followed by the 1030 with 69, and then the RX 550 with 59. A bit of a difference between those two bottom cards there, but I believe that's because GTA 5 tends to run better on Nvidia cards. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but that seems to be what I gathered from my experience over the past couple of years with the game. If we take a look at those 1% and 0.1% lows again, you'll see that there really isn't much in the way of lag here. The minimum on the 750 Ti did drop quite low to 27, below what I would consider a playable 30, with the 1030 just staying slightly above that, and the RX 550 producing 35 as a minimum. Dota 2 now, where again for the third time the 750 Ti came out on top with an average of 80, followed once again by the new GT card with 66, and the RX 550 coming in just below that. I have to say though that between the RX 550 and the 1030, both results are very playable, and when you're actually playing the game you don't really notice that much of a difference. When the game does drop you may notice a difference between those two minimums, 42 and 50 there, but as for the 0.1 and 1% lows, there really wasn't a significant amount of stutter, if any, between those two bottom tier cards there. The 750 Ti once again coming in on top when it comes to those, although the minimum did drop below that of the 1030 on one occasion. Hitman now, and this was where things got interesting. When we ran the game at DX11, the 750 Ti came out on top. However, when we used DX12, as pictured here, the RX 550 actually outperformed the other two cards by quite some margin, with 40 frames per second. The 750 Ti then came in at second with 34, and the 1030 stuck to around 30 FPS, dropping to 8 on one occasion, with the 750 Ti totally freezing up as well. During this benchmark test, the RX 550 actually held up quite well, but I do believe that Hitman is more optimised for AMD cards, and DirectX 12 really does favour that newer AMD card. Finally at CSGO, and we're back to the 750 coming in on top with 212 on average, followed this time though by the RX 550, which actually outperformed the 1030 by about 18 to 20 frames. If we take a look at those minimums though, the RX 550 did drop below 100, whereas the GT 1030 stayed at around that 100.1% and 0.1% lows. Report that there really wasn't much stutter across all of these three cards. In a way, I'm sort of happy to see the 750 Ti still holding its own after all these years, and I think that between the RX 550 and GT 1030, any of the cards is a decent budget option if you really are limited to that exact price. The RX 550 being a little bit more expensive at $80 compared to $70. With that said, I'd have to advise you to try and go with an RX 460 or GTX 1050 if you can afford the extra little amount, but if you can't, then either the 1030 or RX 550 will do. So there we have it guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video and this comparison test that took me way too long to make. If you did, leave a like down below, leave a dislike if you didn't, let me know if you're planning on buying either of these three cards, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one.